Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Why Relationships Matter in the Innovation Economy, a Goodie Nation podcast. My name is Casey, and I'm so happy to be joining you today with another amazing guest. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Goodie Nation is an organization that exists to bridge the relationship gap for so many deserving founders. And we do that in several ways. We do that by providing cohort style learning and support, mentorship, coaching, introductions to investors and VCs. And all of that is only possible when our amazing, dope founders are able to build genuine relationships with folks. And so while we do help facilitate that, relationship building is a huge part of helping entrepreneurs to grow and scale their ventures. And so the reason we do this show is we love to hear how relationships and relationship building has helped to impact some of the amazing people in our ecosystem. And so today we have yet another special guest. We have Trevor, who is going to talk to us a little bit more about what he does here at Goodie Nation and also about his career journey. So thank you so much for being here today, Trevor.
Absolutely, Casey. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So interested in hearing how you ended up where you are today. And so to start off with, we'll start with our classic Goodie Nation question. What is your professional origin story?
My professional origin story. It's a good question. I started my my kind of entrepreneurial tech career in college, working on my first company called Kudzu. It was a students' rewards app. We gave students points that they could use to exchange for gift cards, discounts, and once a lifetime experiences based on their academic achievement. I started that my junior year of college with some friends. We were fortunate enough to run that for about 5 years, had a great experience, raised a little under $2 million. Unfortunately, didn't find product market fit and had to shelve the platform in 2018. Came out to Los Angeles, where I'm based now, working for an accelerator called Quay Capital. So going on the other side of the table as an investor, really just learned a lot there. Led about 45 deals, invested a little bit under $7 million. Did that for about 2 years, and now currently started off at the right before the pandemic, working for a healthcare innovation marketplace called Scale Health. We basically serve as a connector between healthcare organizations and healthcare innovators. Didn't have a healthcare background. Healthcare tech was a relatively sleepy industry, relatively siloed industry. In December 2019, and then about a month and a half, 2 months later, all that changed, and have really kind of found myself going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole that is healthcare tech, and it's fascinating. It's something I found passion in, and I have the fortune to lead the vertical section of the healthcare vertical, part of the glorious Goodie Nation ecosystem. So that is my career origin story.
Very nice, because yes, my next question was going to naturally be like, okay, so with all of that, like, how did you end up getting involved with Goodie Nation? And so just to kind of expand upon that a little bit, like, how did that relationship end up getting formed?
Yeah, I had heard about Goodie Nation through a couple of different contacts, a couple of different people within my network, and then I got connected with Joey maybe about a year or two ago through one of the ecosystem leaders out here. We just kind of stayed cool, connected on LinkedIn, and I saw he had launched this healthcare vertical leader on LinkedIn, and it just looked right up my alley. And I've always been a proponent of, at my core, bringing more of us into the fold of tech, into the fold of entrepreneurship, and really just, I really believe in just kind of talking about networking or building relationships at large, just like, especially when it comes to Black founders, kind of helping out and dispensing like what knowledge from what I've done right, mostly wrong as well. And so it just seemed like it was right up my alley, aligned with my values, aligned with what I'm trying to do in my career. So it's been an awesome experience. And so again, through network, through relationships is how I got connected to Goodie Nation.
Amazing. So you're talking a lot about serving as almost like a peer mentor for folks who, may not know much about the health tech ecosystem, or maybe they're in it and just need to start making those connections. And so I'm curious for you, who were some of your mentors, be they like older mentors, peer mentors, that throughout your journey, these could be folks from school, college, these could be folks that you've met along the way. Who were some of the influential people for you that helped you to be in a position that you can now mentor others?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Well, always members of my family, very strong, like core there growing up. And then outside of that, mentors, I say like my last boss, Glenn Argenbright, he was a pioneer in the tech space. Really kind of after my first tour being a founder, I learned a lot from him as a founder, as an investor. I would say I've been fortunate as I've had to kind of learn on the fly in the healthcare tech space to have some good kind of older brother types that have really showed a lot of love that have also been able to that have spent the time even coming to speak with Goodie Nation, to like Cletus Earl, formerly of Penn State, Pleasant Radford, over at UCare, Chris Cunny, Kirk Barnes, who recently joined the Goodie Nation board. So many different people who've just been great mentors on my end, my father as well. Just a host of great people. I've been very fortunate.
Amazing. And yes, shout out to Kirk Barnes, a podcast guest recently. So we love the connections.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would love to know, when it comes to whether folks are working 9 to 5 jobs, whether folks are working full time on their ventures, there's so much to pay attention to, having to just deal with day to day operations, HR, revenue, all the things. How do you personally factor in networking and relationship building in the midst of like all this other stuff that you do? Is this something that's kind of an afterthought? Are you intentionally like making sure you're at mixers and meetups and conferences? How does that sort of play into your weekly operations?
Yeah. In terms of how I think about networking on a weekly basis, how I operationalize that, at times I can be bad. I'm inconsistent about going out to networking events, and I really should be better about them because I always find or meet somebody that's a good connection for me, a good connection for a company I know, or a Goodie Nation company, or Goodie Nation at large, for example, or other groups that I'm working with. One thing, it requires energy, I think, and a lot of times it's hard to, especially with everything we've got going on day to day, to at times like justify or quantify going to said event or hopping on said webinar. And I think for me, I try to like prioritize ones that really make sense to me, ones that really strike down the middle of what I'm looking for. A lot of that is healthcare tech. If I can find if I can find like a Black healthcare investor and founder mentor event, like gonna go to that. If it's a kind of broader thing, I might, if it's if it's an LA Tech Week event that's not as focused, it might miss me. But one thing I do try to do is always walk away from conversations, or if I'm doing client prospecting, or just curious about what a founder or what somebody's working on, I always try to ask, like, what are you looking for? What can I do to help you out? How can I help further your mission? That's something I found is just like returned a lot of dividends in terms of relationship building. And it's a genuine practice, but And, if I see something on my LinkedIn or something slide across my desk, I'm always excited to make said connection. Like I love being able to ask somebody, what are you looking for? And then see that thing in the wild. But regardless, I found has kind of paid dividends just going out the way to take that extra step of thinking about somebody. I think with how inundated we are with everything in our lives today and how it kind of forces us to narrow in on getting kind of what we want. It's important to remember that relationship building is a two-way street, and I try to keep that at the core wherever of my network and relationship building, wherever and however I can.
No, I like that. I similarly as LA, like Atlanta, every day there's like a million networking events, mixers, happy hours. And so I like how you sort of talked about focusing in on specific events that may best serve who it is that you're trying to serve, who it is who may have, the resources that are most pertinent to you. Because yeah, it can be like networking paralysis in a way, feeling like I need to go to everything. And so I think that's really great advice for people listening.
Yeah, yeah. I had to bump my head going to a lot of networking events where I'm just like, what am I doing here?
Okay, so speaking of that, let's stay on that topic for a minute. Do you have a particular networking style? Are you I'm gonna just go and join the group and introduce myself? Are you more of I'm going to kind of wait back and wait for someone to come and introduce themselves to me? What is your networking style?
I gotta warm up. That's a great question. I gotta warm up. I gotta have a first conversation. I'm more so probably coming in. I'm doing a survey, peeping the scene, seeing what's going on, and then I'm leaning into like either like getting some water, getting some food, just kind of like settling myself. May grab a drink. Um, but the thing about that is like you don't know how long you're gonna be there. So I've been in there situations where I've gone in. I'll be like, I'm just meeting one person. Like I always want to make sure I walk away. Like my baseline strategy, I want to be one person, get one LinkedIn, get one card, phone number, whatever it is. From there, it's kind of like you can audible or go either way. Sometimes I will meet one person and sometimes they kind of act as the Sherpa, and they have a better personality for kind of introducing themselves to people, or they know other people, or sometimes I will kind of get more comfortable after filling out the room and have more of a conversation, be more conversational. But in terms of like strategy and like if I don't really kind of vibe, like I'm easy to say, okay, I met one person, I spent half an hour, I spent 45 minutes, I'm out. But I think like if I'm in a good spot or like a place where it's like, okay, this is a good network, or let me try and work the room a little bit more. You have to balance good conversation and like also uh, recognize when you're getting kind of quicksanded into a conversation that may not be like really helpful to the reason that you're there. Like you'll meet great people, but they might not be beneficial, or you might not be able to help them out. And unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, like, especially at networking events, like when you're expending kind of that last piece of energy, you kind of gotta be very diligent about it. And so, I think that strategy is something that I still kind of have to figure, or I'm still, at times figuring out to work on how to work out of, or work off of. But a lot of times, I've learned that it's better to, while it might be a little awkward or feel awkward at times, just say, hey, like, great meeting you. Can I get your LinkedIn right quick? Can we exchange information? I want to make sure that I'm, just kind of meeting some more people in the space. Most of the times, people really they job with that. So, yeah, good question. That's my networking strategy.
Oh no, that's so relatable. Yes, for I'm sure many founders who may not always, like you said, it's like, this is the after work thing and my brain is shot. I have to maybe, just going to meet a single person. That is all you need to do for that particular event. I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that. And so my final question, I mean, again, within the scope of all the things that founders have to worry about, why for you, why do relationships matter, whether it's in the health tech space proper, whether it's just in life in general? Why does intentional relationship building matter?
Um, Relationship building matters. It's so important. So I'm trying to think about like the kind of crux of it. I think that um, at the core of it, you don't know what you don't know. And while there is a lot of great information on the internet, there's a lot of great information through social media, there's a lot of things that can help you build your business or accomplish whatever your mission may be. There's still, I'd say, there's still nothing equivalent to um, building a relationship, like building a real genuine relationship with somebody in your space. We're all going through this thing called life and this entrepreneurial journey a lot of times um, together, but there's so much that falls on us individually that to give your time, to give your perspective or whatever it may be when initiating a relationship, is a lot. And, people are strapped to the gills, with, just constraints from time and, constraints of time from life, business, et cetera, that, to just have a give and take relationship, I think, especially kind of in post COVID, where we've all been behind screens for such a long time. And now it's just like embedded in our social fabric, can come off a little opportunistic, or can at its core be opportunistic. And I believe that, developing a relationship, having somebody who you for as much as you can genuinely like care about, because like that is what's at the core of developing a relationship. Trust and care, compassion. Um, that I think if that's handled, like if you can get to that, if you can be a human with somebody, then whatever business goal you aim to achieve, it's like asking somebody you have a relationship with, asking somebody you have a friendship with. It's a way less arduous pull of saying, okay, yeah, I know Trevor from Skill Health wants to sell me this. Like, let's get on, instead of seeing that phone call and having somebody kind of feel cold, it turns that to warm. Oh, what's going on with Trev, man? What's going on with him? Oh, he connected me with this founder. Oh, he thought about me over here. It didn't work out, but like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'll pick that phone call up. And like, again, like that is from an entrepreneur standpoint, from a sales standpoint, like that's the goal, right? But like, that is just the end. And like, if you have something that somebody wants and like it meshes, that's awesome. But a lot of times you have to start with those means, which are building relationships. And so that's why it's so important, because you can get you can get good services, whatever it might be, from anybody under the sun. But the fact of the matter is, like, people want to do business with people that they like.
People want to do business with people that they like. It's so simple, and yet to get to that point, it takes a lot of work. And so, yes, I for the in the spirit of relationship building, should someone be listening to this and say like, "Oh, I actually do have a health tech question," or "Oh, I actually something Trevor said that really spoke out to or stuck out to me." How could people contact you?
I'd say LinkedIn is best for me. I'm taking like a social cleanse off the Instagrams and Facebooks right now. Yeah, it's I don't know, better for worse. LinkedIn is is a different beast in its own right. But yeah, if you could DM me just like with something specific and something not like kind of with some care on it, then yeah, I'm definitely down to respond and connect.
Amazing. Well, yes, folks, taking time to craft your networking strategy, finding that one person and sometimes saying, you know what? I don't need to be here for 3 hours. I've done my job. Finding, that intentionality with building relationships and actually reaching out to folks. These are things that are going to be useful regardless of what your industry is. And so I'd really love to thank Trevor for coming onto the show today. I hope that this was helpful for you all as well. And as our Goodie Nation founder, Joey Womack, always says, stay magnetic and outwork yesterday. Bye.